Hello students, welcome back to Kartika IAS Academy. So this is the fifth chapter of NCERT, class number 8. The chapter name is Judiciary. So in this chapter he is trying to explain the importance of judiciary. Whenever executive is trying to violate the laws, then the individual has the right to approach the judiciary, whether it is a district court or high court or Supreme Court. So in this session he is trying to explain the importance of judiciary in a systematic order. So let us try to understand this chapter. So we have the rule of law. That means is that laws apply equally to all the persons, that certain set of fixed procedure need to be followed when the law is violated. So that means he's trying to explain whenever a law is set by the legislatures, if the executive is trying to exceed that legislation, then the judiciary will try to support it. To enforce this rule of law, we have a judicial system that consists of a mechanism of courts, as that a citizen can approach when a law is violated. సో కాబట్టి మనకున్నటువంటి జ్యుడిషియల్ వ్యవస్థ ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఎవరైనా ఒక చట్టాన్ని అతిక్రమించినట్లయితే then the individuals or the citizens have the right to approach the Supreme Court. So next, as a organ of the government, the judiciary plays a crucial role in the functioning of Indian democracy. It can play this role only because of it is independent. What does an independent judiciary means? He's trying to explain in this context of judiciary, an independent judiciary, integrated judiciary, and the other point of judiciary functionaries. What does an independent judiciary means? That means, is there any connection between the court in your area and Supreme Court? He's trying to give an example. This is the Supreme Court of India. So what is the role of judiciary? So there are three types of roles he has mentioned about the judiciary broadly. That is, he broadly is speaking about three important functionaries. First one, dispute resolution. That is, whenever there is a dispute between the citizens and the government, or between the citizens, or between the two state governments, or between the center and state, then the Supreme Court will act as the dispute resolution mechanism. That is, so the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court, it will try to solve the issues between the people, issues between the union and the state governments, and between the states. Judicial review, very important topic. Article 13 of the Indian Constitution talks about the judicial review. It is the final interpreter of the Constitution. The judiciary also has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the Parliament if it believes that these laws are a violation of basic structure of the Constitution. That is, whenever the executive, that is the legislatures, made a certain laws which are against the Constitution, then such laws will be invalid on the basis of judicial review. And next one, upholding the law and enforcement of fundamental rights. Yes, my dear students, the Supreme Court is the most important organism of the Indian Constitution. That is, Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court will be the guardian of the fundamental rights. That is, it will try to issue as certain writs for the enforcement of fundamental rights. That is, habeas corpus, mandamus, quo warranto, certiorari, prohibition. So whenever state is trying to abridge or take away the fundamental rights of individuals, then the Supreme Court will try to support it. He is trying to give an example of Hakim Sheikh, especially Article 21, that is right to life. So Article 21, which provides every citizen the fundamental right to live, also includes the right to health. That is, in Hakim Singh Sheikh, which is a 7th class book, when we hand to hospital, the government hospital especially, the beds of the government hospitals are not vacant. So he was rejected and he is rewarded about nearly 20 hours nearly 20 hours he looking for hospital, and finally he admitted into a private hospital where the compensation paid by the government on the advice of the Supreme Court. So that is the case study which he is mentioning about here. The Supreme Court was established on 26 January 1950. So if you see that the first Supreme Court of India was established in Calcutta, that is through the Regulating Act of 1773. That is through Regulating Act of 1773, the first Supreme Court of India was established at Calcutta William Fort, and the first CJ of Supreme Court is Sir Elijah Impey. Right? He's trying to explain another examples like this. Then what is an independent judiciary? In this topic he's trying to explain if the judiciary is not independent, definitely a powerful politician will control the verdicts given by the judiciary. So in this context he is trying to give an example of one politician, how he can manage the judgment of a judgment of courts if the political power has the highest authority. So one aspect of this independence is a separation of powers, that is the key feature of the constitution. That is government, that is constitution says that government is a combination of three organs. So that is the legislature. So government is a combination of three organs: legislature, executive and judiciary. But under the theory of separation of powers, the judiciary was separate from the executive and the legislature. That is an independent judiciary they have mentioned. So here you can understand the key feature of the Indian constitution. The legislature and executives cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. The courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. Once the judges of High Court and Supreme Court, once they have been appointed, it is also very difficult to remove them only under the procedure of impeachment. Right, my dear students? Then it is an independence of judiciary that allows the courts to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of the power by the legislature and executive. So then what is the structure of the court in India? There are two types of courts. One is apex level courts, second is subordinate courts. Generally, if you see the hierarchy of the court system, I can simply draw a table like this. So like this, I can say that, if you see that, this is the district courts at the district level, and this is the High Court at the state level, and this is the Supreme Court at the central level. So in this, the decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts. The structure of the court system has been mentioned like this. So this is the district courts, this is the High Court, and this is the Supreme Court. Then he is trying to give another examples like the different high courts of the different states. The high courts for the first time established in three presidencies by the Britishers. The first High Court at Calcutta, second High Court at Mumbai, and third High Court at Madras in 1862. The High Court of Delhi came to existence in 1966. Currently in India, we have 25 High Courts, especially the recent one, that is Andhra Pradesh Amaravati High Court, which came into existence from 1st January 2019. Likewise, there are other High Courts that is called Joint High Courts, that is Punjab and Haryana share a common High Court at Chandigarh. So at the same time, northeastern states of Assam, Nagaland, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh have a common High Court at the Guwahati, that is in Assam. So our Indian judiciary is a type of integrated judiciary. That is, whatever decision taken by the lower courts can be appealed to the higher courts. That power of that court system is called appellate system. Example, he is trying to give an example of Lakshman Kumar married 20 years of old Sudha Goyal. Because of some incident, the Sudha Goyal was she died because of some incident which was caused by the Lakshman Kumar and his mother and his brother-in-law. So she was lit, and if you see that, yeah, Sudha told them that her mother-in-law, so mother-in-law Shakuntala had poured kerosene oil on her, and that the husband Lakshman had lit the fire. During the trial, when it is went to the lower district courts, the district court said that, so on the basis of the evidences, the trial court convicted Lakshman and his mother Shakuntala and his brother-in-law also Subhash Chandra and sentenced all them to death. But again, they went to the higher court, that is High Court, and they have appealed for in 1983, and these people were acquitted by the High Court. So again, they went to Supreme Court finally. The husband and mother-in-law have been arrested and kept in the jail. The brother-in-law, who is not a part of this incident, has been released. So in this entire paragraph, he's trying to explain the judiciary system, how it is functioning, especially appellate jurisdiction. So he's also trying to explain how the women lawyers are working in the Supreme Courts to the Indian Federation of Women. So Supreme Court heard about an Egil. So finally they released them. Just one more on. What are the different benches of the legal system? సో జనరల్గా మనం క్రిమినల్ లా అండ్ సివిల్ లా రెండు విషయాలను డిస్కస్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాము. సో క్రిమినల్ లా అంటే ఏంటంటే ఏదైనా ఒక ఇష్యూని కనుక అఫెన్సివ్ కనుక డిఫైన్ చేసినట్లయితే, అంటే హార్స్ ట్రీట్మెంట్ అండ్ థెఫ్ట్ టు ఏ విమెన్ బై బ్రింగింగ్ మోర్ డౌరీ అండ్ ఎక్సెట్రా. సివిల్ లా దేనికి సంబంధించిందంటే ఎస్పెషలీ ల్యాండ్ రిలేటెడ్ డిస్ప్యూట్స్ కానీ పర్చేజ్ ఆఫ్ గూడ్స్ సంబంధించి కానీ వస్తుంది, రెంటల్ మ్యాటర్స్ కూడా. So in this line, he's trying to explain what is meant by criminal law and what is meant by civil law. So in 2016, the government has passed a domestic violence act. It's trying to punish the people who are practicing this dowry system. So does everyone has the access the courts? Yes, my dear students. It seems to be easy, but when come to the reality, the legal procedures involve a lot of money and the paperwork as well. For a poor person who cannot read and whose family depends on daily wage, the idea of going to the going to the court is justice often seems remote. That is not possible. That is why in 1980s, with the help of Supreme Court, it has introduced a beautiful concept called public interest litigation. Justice P.N. Bhagwati, who is a famous judge of Supreme Court, first time introduced the concept of public interest litigation, which is a concept of Australia as well as British government. Under this, everyone has the easy access to justice. Any individual or organization can file a bill in the High Court or Supreme Court on behalf of whose rights were being violated. Even the telegram or a postcard can be used as treated as a public interest litigation bill. So under this, he is trying to explain what is the use of bill, especially if you see that Rajasthan, which is heavy arid region and a lot of MNs are there. If you see the Food Corporation of India trying to store a lot of food products here, which is not used by the other areas. So under this, he is trying to explain photo number 1, 2, 3 and finally midday meals. In 2001, the drought in Rajasthan and Orissa mean that millions are facing acute shortage of food. That is an acute shortage of food because of the lack of water or drought system. But at the same time, the government godowns are full of grains, and often this was being eaten away by the rats. అంటే ఫుడ్ కార్పొరేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా కలెక్ట్ చేసేటువంటి గొడౌన్స్లో రైస్ బస్తాలు లేకపోతే ధాన్యం బస్తాలు పురుగులు పట్టేస్తున్నాయి, ర్యాట్స్ తినేస్తున్నాయి. ఒక ప్రాంతంలో అసలు బియ్యాలు దొరకట్లేదు, తినడానికి తిండి ఉండడం లేదు, బట్ వేరే ప్రాంతంలో కంప్లీట్గా ర్యాట్స్ తినేటటువంటి అవకాశం ఉంది. కాబట్టి సిచ్యువేషన్కి సంబంధించి హంగర్ అమాంగ్ ది ప్లెంటీ, an organization called the People's Union for civil liberties filed a appeal in the Supreme Court and asking that right to life guaranteed in Article 21 of the Constitution included the right to food also. Then the state has to exercise to provide an adequate food to the people without saying that lack of funds. The Supreme Court ruled that the state had a duty to provide food to all. So, therefore, it directed the government to provide more employment, to provide food at a cheaper prices through the government and ration shops, and to provide midday meals to the children. Yes, my dear students, important. So please read this important topic and which better do. And for common persons, access to courts is access to justice. The courts exercise a crucial role in interpreting the fundamental rights of citizens, as you saw in the above case. So, the courts interpreted Article 21 of the Constitution, that is right to life, which is also included right to food. That is, Article 21 is a highly interpreted article of the Constitution. So, finally, he is saying that the judgment of Olga Tellis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation established the right to livelihood as a part of right to life. Very, very important అండి. అంటే పేమెంట్స్ కానీ స్లమ్ ఏరియాస్లో ఉండేటి వాళ్ళ యొక్క రైట్ టు లైవ్లీహుడ్ని ప్రభుత్వము చట్టాలు చేసి తీసుకోకూడదు. అండ్ దే హ్యావ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ సర్టన్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ షెల్టర్స్ టు దెమ్. సో దిస్ ఇస్ అన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ మెయిన్స్ క్వశ్చన్, దట్ ఈస్ స్ట్రీట్ వెండర్స్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ లైవ్లీహుడ్ అండ్ రెగ్యులేషన్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రీట్ వెండింగ్ యాక్ట్ 2014. 80% విడిచిపెట్టదండి, ఇది మనం మెయిన్స్ క్వశ్చన్గా చదువుతాము కాబట్టి సో చక్కగా చదవండి. ఇక్కడ చూద్దామండి, అనదర్ ఇష్యూ దట్ ఎఫెక్ట్స్ ద కామన్ పీపుల్, access to justice is inordinately long number of years that the courts take to hear the case. Because of the less number of judges in Supreme Court and High Court, the justice is actually delayed. So whenever the justice is delayed, that is justice denied, which is often used to characterize this extended time period that the courts take. If you see this image, Supreme Court this is the old data, 34 వర్కింగ్ స్ట్రెంత్ 34 సరిపోయింది. హైకోర్ట్స్కి వచ్చేసి 1079కి ఓన్లీ 655 ఉన్నారు, వేకెన్సీ 424. అండ్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ కోర్ట్స్కి దాదాపుగా 5000 మంది జడ్జెస్ వరకు కూడా వేకెన్సీ ఉన్నారు. కాబట్టి ఎప్పుడైతే వేకెన్సీ ఉంటుందో ఈ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ కేసెస్ అనేవి డిలే అయిపోతూ ఉంటాయి. సో కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతున్నారంటే, సో ఆల్ ఇండియా మెడికల్ సర్వీసెస్ లాగే ఆల్ ఇండియా జ్యుడిషియల్ సర్వీస్ కూడా ఒకటి పెడితే చాలా త్వరగా పొజిషన్స్ అనేవి ఫిల్ చేయడానికి బాగుంటుంది అనే ప్రార్థన కూడా నడిపిస్తుంది ఇప్పుడు. సో ఫైనల్లీ ద జ్యుడిషియరీ, ద ఇండిపెండెంట్ జ్యుడిషియరీ యాజ్ అ కీ ఫీచర్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ డెమోక్రసీ. సో దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ చాప్టర్. రైట్ మై డియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్, సో ప్లీజ్ రీడ్ దిస్ చాప్టర్ until you understand, and at the same time in the classroom we are going to discuss about each and every article. So thank you very much, have a nice day.